kids dropping out of high school, too many being arrested and sent to jail. How come we can rebuild the infrastructure of Iraq and Afghanistan, but we cannot rebuild our own crumbling infrastructure? And the American people are asking, as they assemble all over this country, why can we not end a campaign finance system which is corrupt and which is undermining American democracy? Democracy is not a complicated process. It means that you have a vote, and you have a vote, and you have a vote, and majority wins. What democracy is not about is billionaires buying elections. And the American people are asking another very important and profound question. And that question is, how does it happen in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world that we have more people in jail than any other country on earth? And what the American people are saying is that now is the time to invest in our young people in terms of jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. And some of you have recently heard about the discovery and the revelations about the tax dodging that is taking place in Panama, which is one of the reasons that I opposed the free trade agreement with Panama. And one of the reasons I was on the floor of the Senate talking exactly about what I feared would happen, and that is wealthy people and large corporations figuring out ways to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. And what the American people are asking is, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, how does it happen that you have large, profitable, multinational corporations who in a given year pay zero, not a penny, in federal income taxes? Now, change, real change, comes about, whether it is fighting racism, worker exploitation, sexism, homophobia. Real change comes about when people stand up and they look around them and they say, you know what? The status quo is not working. We can do better. And let me give you, I can give you many examples, but let me give you the most contemporary example of what happens when people stand up and fight back. If we were here in this beautiful auditorium 5 years ago, not a long time from an historical perspective, and somebody would have jumped up and say, you know, I think a $7.25 federal minimum wage is a starvation wage, and it has got to be raised to $15 an hour. Now, somebody stood up 5 years ago and said that. The person next to them would have said, you're nuts. 15 bucks an hour? You want to more than double the minimum wage? You're crazy. Maybe we get it up to $8, $9 an hour, but $15 an hour. You're dreaming too big. Sound familiar? You are unrealistic. It can't be done. Think smaller. But then what happened is fast food workers, people working at McDonald's, people working at Burger King, people working at Wendy's, they went out on strike. And I was very proud to join with those workers in Washington. And they went out and they said, fellow Americans, we can't live on $7.25 an hour. We can't live on $8 an hour. You got to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And they fought and they fought. And then suddenly a few years ago, Seattle, Washington, $15 an hour. Los Angeles, San Francisco, $15 an hour. Oregon, $15 an hour. And in the last several weeks, in both California and New York, governors signed legislation for $15 an hour. What is my point? My point is that yes, we can change the status quo when we think big and when we have a vision. Now, I am not naive. I know the power of Wall Street and their endless supplies of money. I know that corporate America will shut down plants in America and move to Mexico or China if they can make another $5 in profit. I know that billionaires are funding candidates whose job it is to represent the wealthy and the powerful. I know about the corporate media that will give us all of the information we need except what is most important for working families. I know about all of that, but this is what I also know. I know that what history is about is that when people stand up and they say the status quo is not acceptable, we will not have children working in factories. We will not have working people on the job who have no power over those jobs. We will not continue to have segregation or racism or bigotry. We will not have women unable to vote or go to the schools they want or do the work they want. We will pass gay marriage in 50 states in this country. So that is what I have learned from history, is that when we are prepared to think big, when we are prepared to take on the greed and recklessness of Wall Street, when we stand together and we don't allow the Trumps of the world to divide us up by whether we were born in America or born abroad, whether we are Muslim or Jewish or Christian, when we stand together, whether we're gay or straight, male or female, yes, we can create a government that represents all of us and not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors. Now, this campaign has won 7 out of the last 8 caucuses and primaries. With your help on Saturday, we're going to win here in Wyoming. Then we are headed to New York. And I know a little bit about New York because I spent the first 18 years of my life in Brooklyn, New York. Now, please keep this a secret. Do not tell Secretary Clinton. She's getting a little nervous, and I don't want her to get more nervous. But I believe we've got an excellent chance to win New York and a lot of delegates in that state. And then we are going to head, after some other states on the East Coast, out to the West Coast. And we all have an excellent chance to win in Oregon and to win in California. And I think that a lot of these super delegates are going to be looking around them and that are going to be saying, which candidate has the momentum? Which candidate is bringing out huge numbers of people and creating huge which candidate can bring out large numbers of people? See, I can't use the word huge anymore. It's out of my vocabulary. But we will win in November if there is a large voter turnout. That's what always happens. Democrats and progressives win when there is a large voter turnout. Republicans win when people are demoralized. This campaign is giving energy and enthusiasm to millions of Americans. So, I think the people of this country are tired of establishment politics and establishment economics. I think the people of this country are ready for a political revolution. And if you ignore what you hear on corporate media, the facts are pretty clear. We have a path toward victory, a path toward the White House. And Wyoming can give us an enormous boost forward. If we win here on Saturday, we often win, and almost always win, when the voter turnout is high. We do poorly when the voter turnout is low. Let us see on Saturday a record-breaking turnout here in the Wyoming caucus. And let us have Wyoming Democrats making it clear that this great state is part of the political revolution. Thank you all very much.